Welcome to this one last podcast. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to finish up our review of the current Fast and Furious movies today and talk a little bit of news. To my left is P. Breezy.
Hello.
To my right is not D. Easy, the absent boy, Slim. D is not with us today. He is busy at home. We got some stuff he has to take care of.
Some prior commitments. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, he was at a family barbecue. And I am Ryan B. Online. So, Paul Wall, to kick this off, shall we speak of some news?
Yeah, man, let's do this.
Alrighty. We can do this first one with D on your next... I
mean, we can bring it up, because no one D would probably want to actually meet up.
So, yeah, fair enough. Strong possibility. So, recently, a particular NFL player, Carl Nassib, came out as gay, making him the first active, openly gay player on the roster. Pride Month, good time to choose to make his announcement.
Yeah. And he did it pretty low key. He just came out a little video he posted online. Said, open it up like, hey guys, I like to keep my life private, but I'm gay, and da 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 da. And I'm donating. He said he was donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project, which is a suicide foundation to help prevent and deal with suicide in the LGBTQ plus community, and just encourage people to also help where they can when they're able to. And yeah, I mean, so we came close a couple years ago with I forgot his name. The guy from Texas Tech, I think.
Unfortunately, you're asking the wrong person.
I wasn't asking.
Fair enough.
He was the first openly gay player to go into the draft. He was drafted, but was cut during the camp. He just didn't make it. I mean, to start off, he wasn't that he was gay. It was that he was only like 5'10", and that's hard to be 5'10" on an NFL defense.
True chance.
Great defensive player for the Big 12, but again, not saying a lot.
I feel like that if I were more into sports, I would either be offended by the for the Big 12 remark or not. But
you technically be in the Big 10.
Big 10?
Big 10, yes. Despite the fact that Big 12 actually has 10 teams and the Big 10 has 12 teams.
Interesting.
None of y'all Midwestern fucking places make sense. I mean, you guys stole one team from the Big 12 and stole one team from the Big East. Just chomped them up. But yeah, good. I mean, again, another just getting to finally have this finally. Also, I think recent reports coming out that again, this is not in the same category. It's just more progressive movement. There's a female assistant coach for the Spurs, who is like the first legitimate female nominee to be a head coach in the NBA.
Cool.
I don't know anything about her. She's been a head coach for a while, so I mean, she's not terrible. Like Popovich wouldn't keep her on the team if she was bad. So, and legitimately at the very least, we'll get an interview. So I mean, it's slow progress.
Yeah. Definitely, just changes being made in a mostly, male-dominated area. Certainly in football, you're almost to the point where being gay is looked as a negative thing.
Well, I mean, until recently, you were looked down upon. Still, actually, you're looked down upon if you go to therapy. So I mean, let alone like having anything else like that they would quote unquote consider wrong with you, or be different. I mean, hell. I mean, there's still people in the locker rooms who have trouble with black people.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're still a long way to go. So unfortunately, we're still dealing in baby steps.
And I don't think you'll ever be in a place where there's not somebody who just has a problem with somebody for being different. It's whether or not that's the predominant train of thought that you want to change, because ultimately it shouldn't matter. Right. The man being gay should have nothing to do with how well he plays football. If he plays football at his best capabilities and is better than anyone else on the field, then that's what you should be focusing on in terms of the game. And the same token, he shouldn't have to hide it.
Right.
Like, just like, they said, being of a different race than white, you shouldn't have to feel that you are not equal, despite the fact that you're probably better in some cases. It's not a guaranteed thing, obviously, but most of the best players in the NFL today, black players.
Yeah, I'd say percentage-wise, we would lean that way.
Yep. So, this is... Slowly times are changing.
Yeah.
Who knew we'd be saying this 60 years after the Civil Rights Movement started?
Well, if you ask a lot of them, they would probably still assume that, too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I suppose you're right. But
there was a long period of time where not much happened. In fact, we receded in a lot of areas.
It's true.
That was a bad thing. That was a bad topic to start off with.
I suppose so. On a brighter note, well, I guess we can kind of lead into it with somebody who's known for racial...
Epitaph?
Yes. The Foo Fighters recently, not Dave Grohl, recently played Madison Square Gardens, their first full capacity show since COVID-19 started. And a special guest joined them for a cover of everyone's favorite Radiohead song, except for the guys from Radiohead, Creep. Who was this mysterious guest vocalist?
Hello.
None other than Dave Chappelle. I didn't happen to see it.
It was... Okay, so... Thankfully, this isn't a song that requires a lot of range for a lot of it.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was just... Again, like, if you've heard Dave Chappelle, especially his last few specials, he has a very gruff, like, beaten voice now because of all the cigarettes and stuff he's done over the years. So it was very raspy. It sounded very, very karaoke reminiscent. It was fine. Again, he was just doing out there like kind of out of nowhere. So I mean, it's cool to see another like superstar do something different.
Yeah.
He was in town because he had a show over at Radio City. It was like their first show, their first like full capacity shows. He was doing a show with another comedian that I forget the name now. But yeah, that was cool. He just popped over and hey, one of the biggest bands of the last 20 years.
Yeah. Here's
one of the biggest comedians of the last 20 years. You guys have fun.
So did he actually like really go for it, or was it just kind of a?
I didn't listen to the full recording. I didn't find a full recording until just before we started recording.
Yep.
There was because the clip I saw was only like a minute of the song, but he was seeming to get into it. So like I didn't hear the very end, like the long, like the really like robust part of the song.
Yeah. So
I don't know if he really went for it, but knowing him, it wouldn't surprise me. Well, he probably did something similar because he's done it before.
Well, all I can really think of is remember that episode of the Chappelle Show where he did Different Strokes. Mm-hmm. He's different strokes to change the world. He was really hamming it up on that one. So I just like it would be pretty funny to see him do Creep in that sort of vibe.
I mean, he probably did it for real because honestly, I mean, the way he is now in this life, he's only gonna do something if he either thinks it's gonna be funny or if he really enjoys it. So he probably really enjoys that song.
Yep. And
just really want to do it because again, too, he's in the age group where he would have been early 20s, early to mid 20s when the song came out.
Yeah.
So that's that's his age group.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
But just as important, what we were pointing out too is that again we're seeing major events finally coming back.
Yeah.
We've had along with this, which is again outside part of this topic, but outside of our normal round, a lot of the playoff games have been near max capacity. Or max capacity for a lot of these places.
Yeah.
And they're having games in New York, LA, like all over. So we're getting there. I mean,
and in recent news, they did say that it looks unlikely that that we're going to hit the President Biden's projected numbers for having 70% of all adults vaccinated by July 4th. But from my understanding, they're projecting it we're going to narrowly miss it. And could this just be a case of where they intentionally overshot.
He's been raising the goal because he started off pretty low in the beginning.
Yeah.
Hit that pretty early and just kept raising it because he wanted to, get it going. But
you set a high goal, people will go for it.
But now we're getting to that point now where it's the people who just like refuse to get it aren't going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where we're stuck at now. There's some people on the fence probably, but for the most part now we're at that point where it's just people who just don't want to get it, whether it's for personal reasons, political views, religious reasons, cultural history. A lot of reasons people won't get it. I get it. So that's where we're at.
I'm sorry. Tuskegee. I'm sorry.
So again, there's a lot of people there. Again, a lot of people just don't like it, who just don't like getting shots, or just don't want to go to the doctors. I mean, a ton of reasons why they don't want to do it. It's unfortunate.
I got $125 and I don't have to wear masks.
And I emphasize that to many people as possible. And again, there's so many benefits to getting it.
Yep.
So I don't know why people don't. I'm sorry. I know why people don't want to get it. Most people, there are some people who I don't understand why they don't want to do it.
I can understand a lot of the reasoning presented. I'm not 100% convinced that some of the people who say that they don't want to get it are legitimately doing it for that reason.
No, I met a few people who are like just following, like they're quoting me. They're saying things like verbatim from that I'm seeing either on Facebook or at Fox News. Mm-hmm. Or they're probably hearing from their crazy aunt or grandma or something.
Or what was the doctor group that came in?
Yeah.
The woman who practiced she said it was I know I'm gonna screw this up, but it was demon husbandry or whatever.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember who they are. The Marjorie Taylor Greens of the of the medical world.
Yeah. And it's like, I had one of my other managers who's a hardcore red hat, although not that hardcore, but hardcore. Tell me that it was supposed to make your penis smaller, or no, lower your sperm count. And I just turned and said, "Would you like to take a sample?"
Win-win. I get $100 and save money on condoms. Thanks.
I think what I said to him was, like Mountain Dew? It's like, that was a lie, right? People just say shit to say shit. Just like the lady sticking a brass key to her chest.
Yeah,
and then trying to stick it to her neck, and it just keeps falling off.
Yeah.
A brass, non-magnetic key.
Yeah, that fucking thing pops up like once every 10 years for like some reason that just pops up. Mm. Fucking retard. I'm sorry. Idiots. My apologies, I mean to use the R word, don't cancel me.
But all of those words have some background meaning mental illness. Like, there's no way you can call somebody unintelligent without actually it being offensive to somebody. So, the thing is now, I think that when you say retard, it should just mean somebody who is too slow to not somebody who has a mental disability, an actual mental disability. But, whatever.
It's all about phrasing.
Yeah.
I think you got somebody like, are you mentally retarded, as opposed to, are you a retard? Yeah. Like making it a pronoun probably is where it goes.
A retard. I don't know. I'm not trying to take back retard. Like, I'm not. Like, it is an actual word outside of that context, anyways. Like, something that has retarded its growth means to have slowed its growth down. Yep. It doesn't actually mean, whatever. But,
this ain't the hill I'm trying down.
I'm not, but it's just like, the way we get so obsessed with things getting so far away from their original meaning and taking on all these other lives of their own, means nothing. Like, it's ultimately meaningless, and people get so bogged down about it. It's not just that. It's a lot of stuff. I don't know. It's a bit of a trigger for me. Again, Not a hill I'm trying to die on.
A lot of those things have a long history that I don't want to get into right now.
You're right, but I'm not specifically citing that. It just happens to be the thing we stumbled upon to talk about it.
Well, I think the bigger part of it, and again, to continue this rabbit hole, is that a lot of those words that are triggering or that are, cancel worthy or things like that are because they went unchecked for so many decades that it's causing an overcorrection. Just a matter of fact. It's really all it is. It's just it's trying to so abruptly go against what was previously just considered normal. So they're trying to speed up because most people's attention spans have reduced by so much. Their ability to wait for correction or wait for progress has shifted entirely as well. And again, we can't change. It's too much work to change policies and the people in charge. It's easier to say, don't use these words.
I suppose. I think it's more of a lack of overall perspective than it is lack of a attention span. Like, it's people wanting to get focused on one thing and causing that overcorrection because they don't really realize that this is only like this for a different reason. And it never was supposed to be this. But I don't know.
Well, like every good HR rep will tell you, intention doesn't matter.
I suppose so.
Speaking of HR...
Amblin Partners, headed by Steven Spielberg, has signed a multi-film deal with Netflix. I am not sure that's a great segue.
I mean, we're due for a Spielberg scandal.
I suppose so.
He's been too clean too long.
Yeah.
He could be like 5 Bill Cosbys.
Could be.
White and Jewish.
Yeah.
He has access to everything.
Yep. It could be the next, Harvey Weinstein.
But until that happens, his group, Amblin Partners, has signed a multi-film deal with Netflix. Again, this is a couple years after he said that Netflix movies should be counted as TV movies, not actual movies when it comes to awards. A little petty there, but...
Yeah.
So a press release by the two companies stated that the partnership will result in multiple new films per year. So I guess the big question that, if anybody's care, do you think he'll actually direct a movie for Netflix?
What was the last movie he directed? AI?
I do not. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute.
It's curious because, like, I kind of feel like he may just be done with directing anyways. So even if he did direct, I'm thinking it would be, like, it would have to be an extreme passion project or something that, like, he has been waiting a while to do, like a personal project that he's been waiting a while to do. And I don't know. Like, I don't know if I could see him.
Holy shit.
I think it was AI.
No.
No?
Let's see. Since AI. Actually, I'm not going to scroll back that far. That's way too long. Most recently, of the last few years, the BFG, Ready Player One. He has this year coming out West Side Story.
Yeah.
And here he has another movie coming out next year. The Post, Bridge of Spies, Lincoln. He directed Lincoln? Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Tintin. Crystal Skull. War of the Worlds. God damn, AI was 2001. That's right. I forgot how long ago it was.
War of the Worlds, yeah. I completely forgot about that one.
It's been much more sparse, the films he's doing. And it doesn't seem to be much passion behind them. I mean,
No.
Ready Player One was pretty passionless. Granted, not a great source material.
No. It was...
West Side Story, I would not have expected him to do West Side Story. Which, sidebar, I guess one of the stars of that was cast this week to play Snow White.
Interesting.
One of the young Latinas, I forgot her name now, but Rachel Zegler playing female lead.
Interesting. Well, if that's the case, I believe, then he probably will do some directing. Does that matter, though? I mean, because, hell, you and I didn't even really fucking realize that he was doing any directing anymore. So, even if he is continuing to make content, is it memorable content? Is it good content?
Well, and again, I think it's one of those things where it's... I think a couple things there where, one, if it's one, even if he still wants to direct something like that. Because the thing that Netflix offers is a chance to do more... go a little more crazy with movies. Because you don't, you're not expecting... you don't have this, you have a massive budget, you don't have these massive expectations of a huge opening weekend.
Yeah.
Or a huge box office. All you really want is people to look at it.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the reasons that, this is later, we're going to talk about this, but Loki's had massive success.
Yep. And
it's been, even with only 2 episodes in, it's already more successful, or it's already hit higher, it's hit very high ratings a lot quicker than the other Disney Plus shows from Marvel.
Ratings or just viewership numbers?
Viewer statistics, just general statistics.
Okay.
I think it did. It hit a certain percent time, or a certain percentage more than the average streaming show. I think it was 89 times the normal streaming show in only 7 days. Where it took WandaVision 14 days.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that also beat Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So it gives them a chance to do things that you definitely couldn't do in a big movie. You still get a similar budget for it.
Yeah.
But be able to do more kind of goofy things and more passion projects like that without having to worry about having to pull together a giant budget. And especially there where they're working with Netflix, who has no problem throwing away money. They'll throw away, what was it? Apparently $250 million or something like that for the first season of Jupiter's Legacy that they quickly gave up on.
Yep.
All right. So they have no problems with them. And yeah, I think more that's his being involved is more of a selling point, probably for maybe our generation, but our parents' generation, more like Gen Z and the Boomers.
Could this be them kind of late capitalizing on the success of Stranger Things? Because that's very heavily Spielbergian.
A little bit. I think it's them just, at this point, grasping at straws because Disney Plus has so many things to draw from.
I guess.
That if they really want, if they went all in and said, fuck it, we're going to have, you could tomorrow greenlight 6 different shows just about X-Men. All different teams they have, all that shit. Hell, you can have a fucking, there's so many shows you can greenlight right now.
You could probably do that many shows just off of giving the core members their own shows.
But I'm saying you don't even have to. There's so many teams just in the X-Men franchise.
Yep.
You can go and just give their own series.
Yep.
Then you go into the wider Marvel landscape. Hell, even just the galactic Marvel landscape. You can do a fucking She-Ra series. You can do a bunch of shit.
Yep.
And even more so, again, like they're doing with the Star Wars franchise and branching off into all these different, origin stories and side stories and preview stories, what if stories, whatever. They're already making a bunch of, they're already, I think, doing a lot more with the book of Boba Fett than they were originally planning to.
Yeah.
They've already expanded that idea a lot. And Netflix doesn't have that catalog to pull from.
Yeah.
They have shows that have done really well, but what could you really do? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a way to do a spin-off for Stranger Things. Whatever. One of the kids grows up and now it's modern day bullshit. Whatever. But again, at that point, then you're doing just a reboot and
the other numbers.
Yeah. So I mean, you could do a lot of. There are things you can do with it, but I think it's them. One, again, because Disney has such a catalog to pull from, and 2, HBO Max surprised everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I didn't mean necessarily have him come in and do something off of Stranger Things. Just them realizing that his style was a huge influence on it, and a huge reason that was successful was a lot of his early work heavily influenced.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if low-key they're reaching out to everybody not currently attached to their studio.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Like every studio or every production company not attached to...
Who can we get on our payroll and get you started?
Who isn't attached to Disney or Warner... Discovery, Warner Bros. Guys, work on that.
Yeah. Well, because, Disney clearly has a plan. And that's just, their Marvel stuff. That's not even considering all the other stuff, which is significantly less high profile. But it's still probably making them money.
Oh, yeah, no, it's still doing gangbusters. Their kid shows, their teen shows... Their tween shows.
Their high school, the musical, the movie, the musical, the movie, the musical. Yeah.
Well, yeah, too. They also own the stuff on ABC, ESPN. There's so many things they own that it's just the pockets go so deep.
Yeah.
Both in subject matter to pull from and fucking money.
Yeah.
So they could do whatever they wanted. If it gets into a bidding war, they're gonna win. So yeah, they're trying to do everything they can to get as many different things involved. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they make a bid, if they made a bid and tried to steal the Valiant universe from whoever made the fucking Valiant movie, whoever fucking made that shit. But wouldn't be surprised if they try to steal that from the studios who currently have the rights.
Yep. Well, I mean, who knows? I don't know if that one is particularly successful though. That was it's kind of died on the launch pad, I suppose.
Yes, but again, they also backed the wrong horse. I think it was failed to begin with putting Vin Diesel in that role.
That's true.
They should have gone more the line of a lot of other films and just get a lesser named actor and just go all in on what that world is.
And we've spoken about this before, but it's kind of where big name actors aren't really the hugest draw, anyways. You have your Dwayne the Rock, Scorpion King Johnsons, but there's no reason that you can't put a Chris Hemsworth, Pine, the others, Pratt. Why am I drawing a blank on Captain America?
Evans,
there we go. In a role, and have that franchise become one of the biggest things around. They've got the plans for a lot of these dudes to just used to be, you hired your Schwarzeneggers because they were the dudes who were buff and they looked the part. They were, these action stars. Or even going back to the 70s where you have your fucking God damn it, why am I drawing blank? Charles Bronson's and Clint Eastwood's and the guys who looked like they were just tough motherfuckers you wouldn't want to fuck with. But now you've got these personal trainers and these acting coaches and style consultants that can make this actor into who they're supposed to be. On set and off set. They don't have to come already done. They don't have to come already with all this other stuff.
That's probably part of it. I mean, I would say that's the physically capable ones. That's probably a lower number than you think it is. From the old days, especially.
Johnny. Huh? Look at Kamal on Johnny.
No, I'm talking about back in the day.
Yeah.
It was really just Schwarzenegger Stallone. That was it. And then Van Damme came in. Before it was just hey, my dad's friend is beating a gang up. Again, it was guys who were not in bad shape. Who are the heroes? And even Clint Eastwood was just a lean guy. He looked like a badass because of his face.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the 70s, it was a different expectation. It was they looked tough and gruff and dirty, hairy types.
But I'm saying it was either a look or it was just it was either a look.
In the 80s, it was big muscles and your Dolph Lundgrens. Your there were more than just this Spielberg.
It's 4 guys, but I think pre MCU especially, but I think early 2000s and before it was more star driven. So you could cast a Schwarzenegger, and that would be enough to get people in the seats. You could just say, hey, Spielberg's making a movie, and people will show up.
Yeah.
You could just say, hey, well, I would say James Cameron, that probably still works. He only makes a movie like once every 10 years, so it's more, his movies are less common than a fucking eclipse.
That's true.
So you can, but now, again, because there's so many platforms to choose from and so many services, so many ways to imbibe media, that you don't need a star as long as what you're doing looks cool. And if you get the right production team, you get the right stunt coordinators, you get the right special effects company, you can do a lot with a minimal budget. I mean, again, like there's a ton of people on YouTube. I mean, one of the most prominent probably is Corridor Crew, but there's a ton of groups out there that do a lot, and just they're all in house. They have a crew they just do stuff with, and that's not even like they're not doing, work for films. They're doing their own stuff, their own private stuff. And there's there's a guy that just put out a short film that he produced. He did the entire thing by himself over like a 3-year period. A full CGI movie. It's insane.
I would probably murder myself doing that.
He almost did.
Wouldn't be surprised. At some point, you would start to lose your fucking mind.
But yeah, well, he did it in between other projects. But yeah, I mean, there's just a ton of you don't need that name recognition. And again, when you see movies that like all it is Bruce Willis on the cover, like okay, this movie's gonna suck. Yeah, it's just unfortunately that's what it is.
Bruce Willis kind of started making nothing but shitty movies after a while. After it was like a year or two after the fourth and final Die Hard movie. Speaking of names that get asses in seats, the title has been revealed for the This Can't Be Right. Paul has here 7th Transformer movie. There's no way in hell that there's been 7 of them. 7 of these abominations, or 6 of them already.
Well, I think we're counting Bumblebee.
Okay, fair enough.
Again, that's just what I pulled off of the website. I didn't confirm it. I didn't care enough. This title is the reason I give any kind of shit about the franchise.
What's the title, Paul?
Well, you say it, Ryan.
Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah. Beast Wars, baby. Fucking Tiger Hawk. If I don't get a tiger or a hawk, I'm fucking walking. If I see Mark Wahlberg once, I'm fucking walking.
I'm an inventor.
Motherfucker didn't invent one thing. He didn't invent one thing. He had his big idea to take apart Optimus and use his parts to make stuff. You're still not inventing shit. You're just making people on that shit and putting out other shit. Piece of shit.
Yep.
Fucking Boston.
I put a knife on a Roomba. I made a battle bot. I invented a battle bot.
All this shit is fucking dumb. Fucking laser pointer fucking glued to a fucking football.
Yeah.
So I would legitimately be excited for this if no, I'm not gonna be. I'm not. I know it's gonna fail me. I hope they have good people attached to it.
Yeah,
but they won't.
So, you suppose it's gonna just straight up be Beast Wars, or do you think that they're gonna just try to involve?
They'll involve Beasts.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, they'll still have they'll still have Optimus and whatever random ass fucking D-League semi-racist Transformers they bring up.
Yep.
And then they'll all just die because apparently they just can never beat the fucking Decepticons.
Yep.
And then a gorilla will pop up and punch them in the face and then get thrown. But they'll make some dumb banana joke way quicker than they should. But man, I think Rhinox, Cheetor, Rat Trap.
I guess my other question for you would be: you suppose that it's going to have anything to do with the Dinobots? Like, are they going to try to be like, oh, well, these evolved from the Dinobots or something like that?
Okay. So, should they know? Will they? Maybe.
Okay.
Because again, all it really was in that series in particular, like because it followed the same canon as the original series, where it's just a group of like generic Transformers land. They scan the area and then like make their transformations to match that.
Yeah.
except being giant ass fucking gorillas and a giant rat and shit doesn't make sense, but it's what they did.
That's what America does. It's worked out pretty well so far.
So yeah, they were just like, and again at that point, yes, Optimus Primal was the current Optimus, or the current Prime. Sorry, he was the current Prime. I don't recall the exact timeline of that. I think it was a lot earlier in the past. So I think they landed I think maybe just after Dinosaur Times. I don't think there's any actual dinosaurs in the series. I think it was they just scanned fossils.
Okay, cool.
So there were no humans around that I'm aware of, unless it was super late. So I'm pretty sure this was take place a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that way there was no Earth. So that way it didn't overlap with the current or the Gen 1.
Gen 1. So speaking of uncertain origins.
There he goes.
Yeah. So the New York Times recently commissioned a lab analysis of a Subway tuna sandwich after all the stories around them. I hadn't heard a whole lot of stories around them. There's been some curiosity as to what the veracity of it being tuna.
Claims of it, either not being tuna or not having enough tuna or whatever it was.
The lab found no trace of tuna DNA, stating we cannot identify the species.
You'll love to see it. After bread was legally not allowed to be called bread in England, Scotland, the UK, now their tuna isn't tuna. I mean, if you're going to do it, now's the perfect time to bring back Jared. That'll draw attention away.
He served his time? No.
Well,
yeah.
But I thought that was just a funny little story.
Side bit. Yeah, that was pretty good. Not gonna lie, hadn't seen that or heard that, and that's quite interesting to me.
You'd love to see it?
I do love to see it. So, speaking of unidentifiable species, Rick and Morty Season 5 just premiered recently.
Yes, it did. On Global Rick and Morty Day.
Nice. Is there a specific significance to it? No.
Nope, they just made it.
This was
because it's release day.
Nice. It's Father's Day. Sorry, Father's Day. You're now Rick and Morty Day. Suck it, dads.
Listen, there are plenty of dads who are like Rick and Morty. So
True trains.
Win. Dad had the day. Rick and Morty had the evening.
There you go. I'll let you lead this one because those are your notes.
Yeah, I've see. Okay, so my memory is terrible. Despite the fact that I've seen this now 3 times.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 times. I don't remember. I didn't keep everything in memory. So this one has three plots running.
Yep.
The A plot is the treaty negotiation between Rick and his arch nemesis, Mr. Nimbus.
Mr. Nimbus!
An overly sexualized Namer. Namer the Submariner / Aquaman, however you want to look at it. Very interesting.
It's clearly Namer.
It's not very interesting design. Very interesting design. Super overly sexualized, humping everything, constantly saying, "I am Mr. Nimbus."
Yeah. He's gonna say that a lot. Just gyrating and thrusting his hips towards everything, and
episode starts off with Rick almost dying. They're on some planet with this giant fucking elder god chasing them. Not the one from the original trailer or original opening. While these, I don't know, death crystals maybe, or some kind of crystals around them are showing flashes of alternate histories or timelines or universes or whatever, and one of them in particular, Rick notices as he's dying that, oh man, that one, are we Blades? It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Were we Blades in that one?
So they go off and they get back to Earth, and Morty finds a reason to live because Jessica actually says yes to a date.
Yep.
So he just jams the fucking steering wheel back in there, and it works somehow, and they bounce and land safely in the ocean, and Rick freaks the fuck out. And
he touched the ocean.
And then blames Morty the rest of the episode. Despite that he was passed out and dead.
Yep.
But here we are. Classic relationship for those two. This is one of those episodes that's great because throughout it, Morty gets to show flashes of trying to get to Rick, and it's great. Just that pure rage when it unleashes and he goes.
Oh
So that's the A plot of him working on a peace treaty with Nimbus. The B plot is Morty's in charge of wine, which to age up the shitty wine he bought, he threw it in this like Narnia-like dimension where time goes a lot faster. So he threw it in there, and like after like 10 minutes, it's gonna be aged like 40 years.
I do like the fact that when they're talking about the Narnia, he says, "I'm not a goat that believes in Jesus," or whatever he says.
Yeah, but yes, it is an Narnia thing. So he's in charge of the wine while still trying to like get it on with Jessica, his forever crush.
And the those two plots merge because like as they're sitting down getting ready to watch whatever video. Pops on the TV, which happens to be Nintendo 69. I'm assuming that's the porn that Beth and Jerry were watching together.
No, that's a Rick thing.
Oh, it's a Rick thing. My bad.
Yeah, it's a Rick thing. Helps fill the void of his empty life. And the C plot is Jerry and Beth flaunting that they have a very sex positive relationship, and then it's challenged when. Flamboyant Namer offers them documents to sign to agree to a threesome. And they convince themselves to do it, despite the fact that neither of them want to do it, really. But they both think the other one wants to do it. And I'll spoil it now. At the end, at the after credits, they do it. Mm-hmm. With a nice little tagline, don't say anything Rick won't understand. And then he just goes, as he drops his clothes, oh, he'd understand. He closed the door.
Makes me wonder if maybe Rick's original wife and...
Good chance. But he refuses to make anything canonical, so we'll never find out. And a quasi D plot of I forgot her name. The sister.
Yeah, Summer.
Going to the Marianas Trench, fighting off Nimbus's warriors to steal the horn that's the sorcerer's power.
Yep.
Which leads to a great beat up at the end of the episode. I don't want to spoil everything. I've spoiled some things already, but what you think happens in that Narnia door, it goes even further. A lot of blood and a lot of war and a lot of tragedy is seen, both with Morty around and without Morty around. This whole fucking like multi-generational story plays out without the Sanchez's having any idea. And it's fucking brilliant.
It was absolutely genius. Strong start to the first season. Mm-hmm. I think every bit about it is going to stand the test of time. Some of the stuff on the last season, like the earlier things, what comes to mind immediately is the dragon episode. It's funny at the time, but I don't know if it holds up as well. But this immediately starting out feels quality. Like it doesn't feel like an absolute shit show. It feels like a very well planned out, good episode.
Yeah, I think part of that was because there was such a big gap between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
That I think it took them a while to get their footing again.
Yeah. And
this one they kept writing, and apparently I was watching some of the commentary after the episode, and this character I guess has been around it bounced around the office for a while.
Yeah.
They've been wanting to use it, but couldn't find a real reason to pull it in.
I feel like I heard him say Mr. Nimbus or Mr. Nimbus was mentioned or...
Probably. There was one episode in particular they actually were gonna put him in, but it ended up dying. They said it just never made it to air. But yeah, they probably have. Again, there's a lot of ideas they bounce around and they'll say things and just like see if it works, see if it makes sense, and like they'll just watch the fan theories and if it's worth bringing up, they'll bring it back. They utilize like a lot of Dan Harmon's entities. They utilize the fans to see as a barometer for what they should do moving forward.
That's well they should.
Both to follow with and go the opposite direction. Just to fuck with them. Twist the blade.
Well, Paul, we all know that Rick Sanchez loves himself a drink. So I guess the question I must ask, heard you cracking open a cold one. What you drinking, Paul?
Right now, I'm not proud to say it, but I'm drinking a Truly Pineapple.
Very nice.
Hard seltzer.
Hard seltzer. So you also had a watermelon kiwi earlier. Was that any good?
It was pretty decent. Better than the... Oh, you know what? Pineapple's actually not bad. Better than the passion fruit. Didn't care for that one.
Have you seen... I saw this today. Just came in the store today.
Did you see?
And yes, exactly. I nearly just shit a brick with just disbelief. There's a new player in the game of hard seltzers. Sparkling Ice has a hard seltzer.
Sheesh! That makes perfect sense to me. That makes perfect sense to me.
I mean, Topo Chico has hard seltzers. Like, I guess everybody's gonna get in there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are we gonna see a fucking LaCroix hard seltzer?
I mean, again, with ice kind of being the, not sure if premier is the right word, the most noteworthy, like, sparkling water.
I'd say it's probably the most widely consumed.
Yeah. It would just make sense. I mean, why? I mean, fucking listen, if Coors had the balls to get in there, fuck it. Or it's open game for everybody.
It's already an alcoholic beverage, though. Coors.
Is
like,
it though?
Is
it though?
Yeah. Coors Banquet.
It's like 3 cases a year, man. Get over it.
True change. All to Johnny Lawrence. Is it all to Johnny Lawrence or is it all to William Zabka? Me, myself, Paul, I'm drinking Ballantine chocolate peanut butter whiskey cream. And it is delicious. You yourself had some. Can you vouch for its deliciousness?
It was pretty good. It's pretty good. It doesn't need a whole lot with it. I think I let it sit a little too long, so it got a little warm, but it's pretty solid. Mm-hmm. It's good, like you're saying. It's very like a not quite shake-like, but like
a thick chocolate milk.
Yeah, thick chocolate milk. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, thick chocolate peanut butter.
It's like
milk.
That farmland milk.
Yeah, and to me the peanut on it, like if you out there in this won't last land, have tried like the screwballs and things like that. That stuff is very sweet. This has more like a roasty, like a fresh roasted peanuts flavor to it. And the same distiller, Ballantine, makes a just plain chocolate peanut butter whiskey, not a whiskey cream.
Yeah. And
it is absolutely delicious as well. This is fantastic though. This is easy drinking and it's neat by itself. Is good.
To quote a man of many fine tastes, it's a bit nutty. It tracks.
You know what else is pretty nutty? Oh, I was going to say what? But,
what?
The Time Variance Authority.
Wow.
Wow. So, Loki, episode 2. Just dropped last week. Another one dropping tonight. A lot more happened in this episode, in my opinion, than the previous one. A lot more forward progress on the plot.
Well, yeah, because they're not setting up an entire universe.
Yep.
So, yeah. Again, I was on board. I'm still on board.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking dope.
I never wasn't on board, but...
Rewind the tapes.
Yeah, no, I think if you rewind the tapes, you remember me saying, what, a semi-evil or wild... what's the word I'm looking for? Not evil.
All I kept hearing
was... A chaotic version of Doctor Who.
All I kept hearing was, nothing really happens.
It doesn't. It was a lot of setup. It was fine, but in this episode, a lot of events happen. A lot of questions get answered, but also raised. And it was overall really good. And I think they've absolutely set up a huge arc going forward. Starts out with them demonstrating the power, quote unquote, of this Loki variant, and showing his cunning and his attempts to get an audience with the timekeepers and this and that and the other. You get a little bit more time with Mr. Mobius. You get to see him interacting with Ravonna Renslayer, and them kind of developing their relationship. The fun bit with him and Miss Minutes. Are you recording? Or are you live? Well, I'm not really one and not really the other.
Kind of both.
Yep. Voiced by the incomparable Tara Strong. Better known to many of you as Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. But also...
Oh, 100. She's done so much.
She is the Nolan North of... who's the... I mean, yeah, that is Nolan North. It's still the Nolan North. But of voices.
I mean, she's one of the go-to female voice actors. Mm-hmm. So whether it's TV, video games, commercials, whatever it is, she's very involved in that. As well as she cosplays and does a bunch of. But she's very involved in the various communities.
Yep. So she's great in the episode, even though she has a very small part. You also get to see Loki using his brain to figure out what's going on. Slowly figuring out how this Loki variant is getting away with all this stuff. Even though the explanation that he gives for it absolutely ruining Mr. Mobius's lunch is a little bit clumsy.
But it's fine because he's never had to explain himself before.
It's true.
Might be the exact first time.
I do love that they had Boku. Because I used to drink that when I was a kid. And it's very interesting to see like things like that, goofy stuff, just show up.
Oh yeah, there's going to be tons of that.
Yeah.
There's going to be tons of that.
Josta Cola, the first energy drink available in America.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah. No, a ton of stuff in there. I'm actually, so this is going to be full of spoilers moving forward for whoever hasn't seen it, which you're a fool. Mm-hmm. Why you listen to us before watching Loki?
Yeah. It's just bad for a week.
Yeah. This can't be spoilers at this point. That's like it's like saying spoiler warning before talking about Endgame. Yeah. If you haven't watched, it's like the Bible. At this point, if you haven't gotten into it, you're not going to.
Spoiler alert: Jesus dies.
Jesus, I was almost there. So I am disappointed they already met the other Loki.
A little bit.
I was hoping to be a little bit longer, but I'm fine with it. But honestly, I interpreted it a different way. I get what they were setting up, how you interpreted it. I ever since this series started, I cannot get over how incompetent TVA is. Like, for them, their greatest weapon and why they're so effective is that nobody knows they fucking exist. Mm-hmm. So if randos come out, like the first episode when they like beat Loki. So I guess he doesn't know what the fuck they do. Yeah. So of course he walks up to these random humans to punch him because, despite the fact of what they show later on, he does have decent strength. Like he does have the strength of an Asgardian. Yeah. Which is stronger than a normal human. Yeah. So their greatest strength is that nobody knows who they are. So they normally just take on normal humans. So yeah, when a god approaches them and the god knows what they're capable of, they're pretty easy to take down. Yeah. Like. Pretty easy. Even without mind control and shit, like, they're pretty easy to beat. Their weapon is a stick, and not a long stick.
No.
So as long as you just don't get hit by that, you're Gucci.
Yep.
Like granted, I mean, probably maybe a little overboard, just light a whole field on fire, but it was effective.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing is like that shows the ruthlessness of this variant. Or, assuming, later down some things are revealed, could it show that maybe she understands, spoilers, that they understand that maybe the Time Variance Authority is ultimately just like puppets?
Well, and again, I think that's, honestly, the Loki is more of the mechanism for the bigger story of the true purpose of the TVA, the true purpose of the Timekeepers. Mm-hmm. So I think the bigger story is going to end up being when we actually find out who they are. Yeah. Which will help more clearly define what the TVA is. Because the TVA at this point are just radicals who follow the dogma that they've been trained to follow. Yeah. They don't think, they don't ask questions. Mobius is the only one who does, which is weird. So that means he was altered or made for a purpose to eventually undo all this. Because otherwise, again, like everybody else just follows rules blindly. They don't think or ask questions.
Well, the current working theory that a lot of people are putting out there is that maybe that these are all variants that they mind wiped and brought in to serve. Which part of that logic that people are applying to it is Mr. Mobius's obsession with the 90s.
Could be.
And the jet skis. Maybe he was some kind of a variant, and they're just like, well, mind wipe him, bring him in. And now he's just got some remnants.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That would help to make sense. So maybe. Yeah, I haven't been trying to theorize too much because because when I start thinking about it more and more, I start getting stuck on the idea that the main purpose of the first episode, which we talked about, was that everything is predetermined, so there is no free will. Yeah. So I was talking to Kevin about this, that at this point, the way it's defined, there are a finite number of multiverses. So their goal is to stop the creation of more. Yeah. So, like, again, looking at the other end of the spectrum, looking at the Rick Sanchez idea of the multiverse. Yep. There is an infinite number, so that everything that could happen is happening simultaneously. So that every choice that's made is being made and creates a new universe. Yep. Which again is one of a major plot point in like the Earth X and Universe X storylines, where the Mephisto's whole goal is to keep making more multiverses to help him escape the eventual, reckoning from God or whatever bullshit. Like because he thinks he's like the actual devil, so he's creating more multiverses to be able to create to escape into. Mm-hmm. As backup plans. So what you're saying is you hypothesize that Mephisto is involved? I don't think they will. I really don't. I don't know who they're going to have. I mean, here's the thing. I think the reality is, if they didn't bring Mephisto in during the most obvious choice of Falcon and Winter Soldier, then they weren't going to bring him in at all. So I think the most obvious choices are either Mephisto or Kang. Mephisto's power broker. It's either Mephisto or Kang are the two most obvious choices, so which means I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah. So I think setting up a world where and again, my theory is if they're not so unless they're in a blank universe, they're in limbo. Yeah. Or unless they're in the quantum realm, but more than likely they're in limbo, which is the domain of Kang. Yeah. So either Kang's pulling the strings, or after this is done, the TVA is destroyed, and then Kang comes in and cleans up the mess. And like creates his own fucking empire. Yeah. Which would lead into that. So I don't know, but again, I think also from assuming what's going to happen in Quantumania, he's setting up shop in the quantum realm, in that city that I can never remember the fucking name with the fucking Annie people or fucking the weird people. I forget what they're called, like the fucking ant people or whatever. Yeah. It's the Microverse, but I don't remember the name of the... Micronauts. Jesus, I was dumb. It was the 70s, guys. Sorry. True chains. So, yeah, Mephisto and Kang make the most sense. Possibly Immortus, but nobody cares about Immortus. Just be honest about it. Immortus and Kang are the same people. Theoretically. But Kang's the more fun one. Yeah. Immortus is just like a douche in a hat. Yeah. Whereas Kang is a douche in a hood. It's more of a whole headgear like situation going on. Mask kind of thing. Helmet? He's helmet. Helmet, because his face is blue. Yeah. For some reason. Yep. Don't think about it too much. So, this episode, I only had one problem with the whole episode. It's during the research, when he's going through all the paperwork, and he's researching apocalypses. Because the whole thing, his theory is that the other Loki, the lesser Loki, is hiding in apocalyptic events because they don't show Nexus energy. Or variant energy. So I don't understand how the destruction of an entire planet in Asgard is a Class 7 apocalyptic event. But the destruction of a big grocery store, Rocksmart, in Alabama, is a Class 10 apocalyptic event.
Maybe it's in Greenbow.
It's not. The Haven Hills?
I will tell you the two primary theories. One is that it's based off of how many died during that event, and it could be argued. The reason that's is because that's argued that way is that people are seeing the number from Ragnarok and the number from Roxxon, and apparently there's difference and there's more in Roxxon.
Like 1,000.
Yeah,
that's it.
So maybe that's the difference. What I think is more likely is that it's going backwards. That a 1 is the highest.
Maybe.
And that maybe there is a specific apocalypse event, end of the universe or something like that, that represents 1. And that everything below that continues upward to significantly less worthy apocalypses.
Could be.
Third one, they just didn't fucking think about any of it.
No, false. My only assumption, if that makes a lot more sense, I didn't think about that. Because if it was the other way, where the higher you go, the worse it is.
Yeah.
The only way it makes sense is because Asgard, by design, does not engage with the other realms.
Yeah.
Outside of Odin sending his warriors to quelch the occasional battle in different realms.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he ain't fucking with Earth. Outside of the occasional, D.B. Cooper situation. So that would make sense where, if Asgard goes, who fucking notices? Mm-hmm. Really, I mean, it doesn't change a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, despite it being the All-Father.
Yeah.
Because he just fucking, sipping his tea in the corner. Yeah.
Well, that brings up all sorts of other things anyways. So, he's the All-Father, but then again, what do any of the gods actually mean in the grand scheme of the Marvel cosmic universe when you've got the one above all and you've got Beyonders who have unlimited power and Galactus, the World Eater, the only remnant from the previous universe, and so. But I think it's the other thing. I think it's probably going in reverse. Either that, or just that maybe there were so much fewer Asgardians died because of Thor's intervention and getting people onto the raft. And
but no, that idea makes more sense. That it's working its way down. Yeah, it's fine. I'm fine with that.
So,
but yeah, I think it's. I want to say there's 8 episodes of this.
I think there's 6.
Only 6.
Because I think they said that next week is the halfway point. Yeah.
Well, got a lot of work to do, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, as it's described, I'm curious because the way they showed Loki, and again, we've said spoilers 4 times already. Yep. Lady Loki, which I'm glad happened. Mm-hmm. She seems more like Enchantress than Loki.
And did you catch the bit where they actually show her name?
No.
So her name, I wish I could remember the specific name, but is the same as the teen version of Enchantress, the second Enchantress, from the Young Avengers. Let me pull it up here. Sylvie, they call her in the show Sylvie Lovely Daughter. So, does that mean it is her, or are they just using that name as a placeholder? And the other thing is because Lady Loki, the most recent iteration of Lady Loki, her name is Ikal, which is just Loki backwards. And maybe they just didn't want to do something that goofy.
Well, I don't know, because she gets very offended being called Loki, mm-hmm. but doesn't deny being a Loki. Mm-hmm. And again, the TVA is very clear that it is a Loki.
Yeah.
So
it's Laffy daughter.
I mean, given the knowledge they have, she is. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand. And besides that too, we've already met. I mean, again, unless they are completely removing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from canon, because they did introduce the Enchantress there.
Yeah.
But at this point, nobody fucking remembers that shit. Man. Nobody really remembers anything from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. other than like that, like one season of Ghost Rider.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much that they did in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just to keep the series going, I think. Like, I don't know that they ever really intended on merging it, like, totally. I think it was always going to be something where the TV show references the movies and not the other way around.
Yeah.
Like...
But, I mean, I think everything left on its own, I think it was meant to be still in canon.
Yep.
But again, all the drama between Marvel TV and Marvel film, all that shit went down, so... Oh, well. Still down. Good series. Ends a nice little cliffhanger of Loki following the Lady Loki.
I love that cliffhanger, by the way. Just like, I can't wait to see what they fucking do in the next episode. Full on spoiler. Basically, turns out Lady Loki was setting up a bunch of the temporal detonators, or whatever they're called, to go to various points in the timeline. And we don't exactly know where, like a 50, 60, 100, who knows?
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
It's a lot.
It was a lot. There were tons of them all over this Rocksmart store.
Yeah, they show a lot. Even like doing an aerial view in the dark hall, like dark aisles. Mm-hmm. A lot of things light up. Mm-hmm. And then even going back to the TVA, showing the quote unquote sacred timeline, a bunch of branches pop off all at once.
Yep.
Which I don't entirely understand, because I mean, unless she reprogrammed them in some way, all the reset would do would just be go back to what it's supposed to be. So she must have reprogrammed them in some way to change something.
Well, I mean, it was kind of hinted through Loki, and the way he describes it is that they just disintegrate stuff. Like, it just eliminates it. Like, I don't know if it just
but not everything.
Completely temporal, like just rewinds the spot,
right?
Or it just deletes it from existence.
Right, but okay. So our best way of seeing that is what happens at the Renaissance Fair in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
When they hit the reset, only the things that happened in that episode were disintegrated. The grass, the different things, like things that didn't get affected by the episode, did not disintegrate. Just the things that were used as weapons or moved or affected. So things were reset back to how they were before the temporal anomaly. So
yeah.
Again, I mean, granted, you could very easily explain away that she modified them to do something different. Maybe shifted by 5 seconds, and that changes everything.
Well, and I think the thing is like, what determines what is correct?
Well, again, that's the whole point of the series.
Like, what determines what is the actual correct timeline? So maybe it's not that it's resetting things that, happen within the event, but within the defined parameters. So whatever she defines as the parameters are what it's going to reset.
Well, again, that's the question I was asking. Yep. Is what could she affect it in there? Because when they do that, they just pop it and set it down. There's no things. There's no screen to go in there and look at it and say this. It's just basically they work the same to much more nastier sense, the same way as the flashers from Men in Black.
Yep.
All you can really adjust is the times. Because all I really see there's 3 dials for, assumably, just time changes.
Yep.
But nothing on there that shows how to change what specifically is affected. So, again, she obviously makes some change to it. She hacks them in some way. So whether it shifts things a certain time frame off, whether it's shifting things off by 5 seconds,
yep. That
could very easily fuck a bunch of shit. So if everything within that range that it hits is affected by 5 seconds, great.
Maybe 5 seconds the Titanic doesn't sink.
Maybe. So yeah, I mean, they can very, very easily explain, because they did a good job of telling us enough about things, but not telling us everything. So very easily you can go in there and explain away that that she modified them to do a certain thing. Great. And again, so we know very little. We know very little, which I love.
About Loki.
A character, yes. Well, yes.
Just in general.
Either way. So yeah, a character that we've been dealing with for 10 years now, 11 years, 12 years. We still know very little. We know a decent amount about him, but still know very little about this universe that they've spent 2 episodes creating. And again, within a cinematic universe that we've been dealing with for 13 years.
Yep.
We still know very little about what's going on, which I love.
Yep.
I love not knowing what's going on, and this definitely, hopefully, should make a big impact on what's happening moving forward.
A cinematic universe, which we've been dealing with for 12, 13 years, that draws on content that we have been dealing with for 60, 70 years. And it's hard to tell what direction they're going to take. Like, there's a lot of established things that have happened. There's a lot of storylines they can go with. There's a lot of, individual characters that they're using that have established storylines. But there's no real clear direction as to what it's going to be. But you do see a very clear direction that they're going somewhere. That they have a plan. I like that. I like that I don't know what's coming, but I want to know what's coming. That's what she said.
And speaking of things that we've don't really understand a whole lot about, happy anniversary to Significant Other by Limp Bizkit.
Oh, really?
It was released 22 years ago today.
Wow.
Today's recording, June 22nd.
Just turned to dust.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy.
Significant Other.
22 years.
The first one, or that's the...
It's their second one.
Second one?
$3 Bill Y'all was the first one.
That's right. $3 Bill Y'all. Significant Other was the one with Nookie. And then Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavor Water was the one with the one that kind of went off the rails, but was actually still kind of good. Had a lot of guest performances.
Yep. A lot.
Yeah. I'll have the lot. I don't remember much about Significant Other than that's with Break Stuff and Nookie.
Yes.
Not that I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan, but I was very much into that genre when I was that age. $3 Bill Y'all was amazing. And then I just don't remember that much about Significant Other. And then I made a bit of money pirating Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavor Water because I got it like a month before it came out. Don't do that, kids. What's done is done. Well past the statute of limitations.
Yeah, guys, don't steal Limp Bizkit songs.
I would have expected you to go, don't listen to Limp Bizkit songs.
they're fine. They're a few good songs.
Yep.
They're fine. I'm not sure they hold up, but there's a few good songs for our generation.
Not really a huge fan of what they did with Behind Blue Eyes, but whatever.
Not a fan of what they did for a lot of stuff, but
Faith was great.
They're part of our history, guys.
Yes, they are. Good and bad.
History, not hate. Never mind.
Hate. Paul. Hate rhymes with other words. Skate. Date. Relate. And speaking of relating, I relate this word to our current main topic.
Well, I hope I'm getting flower miles for this. Jesus Christ.
Fate of the Eight. Or Fate of the Furious.
Yes.
Sorry.
Fate of the Furious. I can't stop calling it Fate of the Eight.
It fits. I like it.
That's what it should have been. But...
Yeah, Fate of the Eight. Even though there's like 6 of them. But so, final review before the long-awaited F9 review.
Yeah, we'll probably do an appetizer next week about Hobbs and Shaw, but
Yeah.
I think only DeLacy really liked that movie.
It was fine.
It was at best it was fine. I had nothing. It was the problem. The biggest sin, the movie's biggest sin was that it was forgettable.
I agree. It certainly struggled to make a proper impact. It did. Anytime The Rock's on screen, I enjoy it. Like, legit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he's in.
And like I say, they're both good because both Statham and Dwayne Johnson work well with pretty much everybody. Except Vin Diesel. So, like, I enjoy the chemistry they put off because they have a very, not to overuse this analogy, but a very, like, odd couple-like relationship.
Yeah.
Where it's, one's very prim and proper, and one's very, like, just tough and rugged.
Yeah.
Which, again, not to say that Jason Statham, based on his face, is not tough and rugged.
Yeah.
But, again, it's the perfect example is their vehicle choices. One is an Aston Martin, one is a massive fucking truck.
Well, yeah. And I don't know if prim and proper is the right way to say it, but...
Compared to Hobbs.
I suppose so. Yes.
He's wearing turtlenecks, man. He's wearing turtlenecks.
Style versus substance.
Form and function.
It's form and function.
Form and function.
It's America versus England is what it is. A whole hell of a lot more of America, but England does pretty well with what it's got.
So we'll go over a few fast facts and we'll get into it. So runtime 2 hours 29 minutes. Released April 14th, 2017. Director F. Gary Gray. This is coming off of I think he had just done Straight Outta Compton.
What did Gary Gray do? Why you say F him?
Budget $250 million. That's a lot of money. Well, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money because this motherfucker made $1.236 billion with a B.
Man, that's pretty good.
It's a lot of fucking money.
Yep.
Opening weekend, $541.9 million worldwide. It was the largest opening in history until the next year when Infinity War came out, which was a cultural event. So it took a cinematic universe and a cultural event to beat fucking Vin Diesel. And he was still a part of that too. It's insane, like how quickly Vin Diesel is involved in some of the most highest ranking movies of all time. Because of a fucking auto-tuned voice.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is same thing with Zoe Saldana. Mm-hmm. Like she was in, I think, 3 out of the top. Can't remember what the other one was, but Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
Endgame, and then I don't remember what the other one was.
Infinity War, I assume.
Yeah, probably, but I thought it was a different franchise. But anyways.
And another small fun fact within those fun facts. That year, of the $1.2 billion they made, over $1 billion of that was overseas, international markets. So they only did like around $200 million in the U.S.
Yep. They
did like $600 million in China alone. Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I think that really goes to show that to be successful on an international scale, really all you need is just something that transcends boundaries, that is, deep in each of our hearts, and smashing stuff together and driving fast cars is a fan of it. Everybody's a fan of that. At least everywhere where they watch movies.
So now it's a weird box office list this year. So it came in 3rd at the end of the year for total box office. Behind number 1, The Last Jedi. Number 2, Beauty and the Beast.
Weird.
2 of those didn't age well. Categorized in action adventure crime. Okay, you want to pull up? Catch your seat, man. All right. This movie introduces a Cypher, played by Charlize Theron. Little Nobody, played by Scott Eastwood. And the matriarch of the Shaw family, the incomparable Helen Mirren. After numerous times through numerous interviews saying she wanted to be part of this franchise. And Vin Diesel's like, bet. She actually wanted to be behind the wheel in that movie, but she had to wait until F9. It's coming out this month.
I feel like I need to correct you, though. That's Dame Helen Mirren.
Would you want to be called a dame or incomparable?
The incomparable Dame Helen Mirren? What's that title?
She should be Sir Helen Mirren, all right? She's got big dick energy for weeks.
She does.
And she was a fire starter when she was younger. She still is.
Absolute smoke show.
She can still get it.
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous lady.
This movie's one thing you remember: that submarine fight, and The Rock like chucking a fucking torpedo.
That was great. I did enjoy that. My personal pick for that is definitely the Shaw baby fight. Like, just it was so great watching him just like put the headphones on the baby and just go around murdering people.
It was more reminiscent of his earlier days, his Luc Besson days.
Yeah, a little transportery.
Yeah. I had definitely vibes of him like fighting in a bus depot or covered in oil. For business reasons.
Putting on bicycle heels to jump around, or bicycle pedals.
He's so nimble.
Yeah,
he's so nimble.
That was really good.
And total number of cars destroyed, 348. Just below the previous movie. Just.
I
think.
No, 6.
That's right. Oh yeah, the tank. That's right, the tank.
6 had the highest.
Yeah, the tank.
And actually, 7 had significantly less. 7 was 230 cars.
Yeah. Well, I think that was because they again were just like more of a spy film.
Yeah.
Well, not spy. I guess more of a. It was a lot more gun based. Like it was a lot less cars.
And I feel like a lot of the stunts that they did with the cars were more like a single car.
Yeah.
Like the tower jump and things like that. And I guess, you had a few things with the mountain drive and things like that. But
well, like I say, and with these two movies here, each movie has one scene that like is the bulk of the cars.
Yeah.
Like the tank on the highway is the bulk of the cars for that one. Like just days and days of running over cars.
Yeah.
And this one is the mentally handicapped fucking autopilot scene.
Yeah.
They hack hundreds of cars that predate the computer chips that allow them to be hacked. But why nitpick a movie that's not meant to be nitpicked? All right, the virus didn't think about it. Why am I going to think about it? Let's move on. All right, it's fine. We're fine. It's fine. We're fine. It's fine. So go over a few furious facts before we really get into it.
Zombie time.
Apparently, little nobody, your boy Eastwood, was supposed to be Paul Walker's replacement in the franchise. Apparently, Eastwood was even buddies with Walker in real life. Mm-hmm. And through that, in the movie, also preferred Japanese and Asian makes while driving. Honestly, I just thought he was there to be a replacement for when Kurt Russell was like, "Fuck, I'm out of here."
Yeah. I mean,
it still works.
You could easily write out Mr. Nobody, and like it wouldn't make a huge difference. Like he's fun to see him go in there. Why? I don't think that Russell would leave because like he doesn't have to be there.
I don't think he would. I think he was there as just like kind of a double shot. It was both to bring in another white guy and to have a backup in case Russell's like, I'm good now, or if he was like busy because again like they're notoriously stubborn when it comes to these filmings. So, like, if Russell was busy, say, doing another film, they maybe wouldn't wait for him.
I suppose so.
Hell, they wouldn't wait for The Rock. So, again, that was mostly Vin Diesel's say, but yeah, it is what it is. That's why I think it was this one or was it 7? Like, no, I think it was 7. A lot of the movie, like, he was filming, he was doing stuff I think for WWE.
Yeah.
And he wasn't available, so that's why he was only in a few scenes.
They bumped him out and put him in the hospital.
Yeah, so that's why Vin Diesel was very happy to give him a broken arm.
Yeah.
In the movie, for his character, not him personally, because he couldn't do that.
No way.
Apparently, Lucas Black was supposed to be in the movie also, but he was busy shooting NCIS New Orleans. LOL.
Good for him.
You chose Wesley.
Yes.
Drama, baby. We love the drama. So again, this is probably, I think, more what the series defined. The series is as much defined as this problem in recent years as anything else. So I'm going to read a quote from IMDb. I'm going to read this line for line from the IMDb. A week before filming ended, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson posted an infamous message on Instagram confirming that the production had endured its share of on-set frictions. Quote, "This is my final week of shooting, hashtag Fast and Furious 8. There is no other franchise that gets my blood boiling more than this one. An incredible, hardworking crew. Universal has been great partners as well. My female co-stars are always amazing and I love them. My male co-stars, however, are different stories. Some conduct themselves as stand-up men and true professionals, while others don't. The ones that don't are too chicken shit to do anything about it anyway. Candy asses. Hard stop. When you watch this movie next April, and it seems like I'm not acting in some of these scenes, and my blood is legit boiling, you're right. Bottom line is it'll play great for the movie, and it fits this Hobbs character that's embedded in my DNA extremely well. The producer in me is happy about this film. Final week on Fast 8, and I'll finish strong. Winky face, winky front, smiley. I don't know.
Winky slashy mouth.
Winky slashy mouth. Hashtag Iceman cometh. Hashtag F8. Hashtag zero tolerance for candy asses. I wonder who he was talking about. Well. So yes, this was the coming out party of the problems between Vincent Diesel and Dwayne The Rock.
Mark Vin Diesel Sinclair.
I'm sorry, The Rock Johnson. The Rock Johnson.
Mark Vin Diesel Sinclair and Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you can't have the series without Vin Diesel, unfortunately. Yeah. And it really needs The Rock because everything needs The Rock.
True.
Everything's just better more with The Rock. With more of The Rock.
More of The Rock. Everything's better with more Rock.
And this movie, I think in particular, like all the dialogue is written just for trailers. Like it's which is funny because there's a lot of scenes of them just being in rooms talking about shit.
Oh yeah.
But every time The Rock talks, it's just talk shit. So again, there's not a lot of great quotes in this film, but I guess the only one I can really pull because again, like the best chemistry in the entire movie is between Deckard and Shaw or Deckard and Hobbs. Yeah. Like that's it. Hobbs and Shaw is the best interactions in this film throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because, like most movies, Vincent doesn't give a whole lot.
No.
Rome is a caricature who just gives, like, reaction lines.
Blanta.
Tej is
Blanta, huh? Black Santa? I like the beard.
Why are they shooting me? Probably because you're driving a red or orange Lamborghini.
Yeah.
On ice.
On ice.
So, this is an interaction. I think when they're breaking out of prison or already out of prison. I think they're breaking out of prison. Deckard says, in another life, you could have done some serious damage. I'll let you read Hobbs.
With all due respect, Captain, when the whole thing is over, we're going to find a location, and I'm going to knock your teeth so far down your throat, you're going to stick a toothbrush right up your ass to brush them.
Another line that I almost wrote down was in like every trailer, but I felt weird writing it down, was, I'm going to beat your ass like a Cherokee drum.
Yes, I know.
It's a funny line. It feels weird to say, but it's a funny-ass line. It's a funny fucking line.
The other one I like is when they're in prison, and Hobbs is like punching at the wall, and he's like, oh, you got too much bulk. All show, no go. And then he rips out the whatever it is, table sink from the wall. It's like a concrete thing, and starts doing curls with it. And he goes, what is it? He's like, oh, I got plenty of go, boy.
He's just angry the entire time.
Yeah.
I love him. He's just so angry.
He's great. I love how his Hobbs character is a bit of a combination of The Rock and Stone Cold.
I mean, it's the perfect being.
Yeah.
like legit. I am really hoping that in the last two, they just go full Expendables and just bring in all these fucking like crazy like action guys.
Yeah.
Bring in Stone Cold. Bring in Batista. Bring in all these guys. Just fucking let them go nuts. fucking Royal Rumble this bitch.
And the interesting thing about Batista regarding the I almost called it the Final Fast saga. Final Fantasy. The interesting thing about Batista is apparently he gave up the option to be in this series to pitch his Gears of War film that never happened, as far as I'm aware. To be honest with you, I don't entirely blame him, because visually he is Marcus Phoenix. Like, he looks exactly like Marcus Phoenix in real life. Like, down to the absolute brick shithouse build that he has. So I mean, like, if there was a character, it would almost be like Patrick Stewart not playing Professor X. Like, if he didn't go for that.
So, okay, again, like, this one, like, gives up all pretense, straight up. In this movie, they're just superheroes or James Bond.
Yeah.
That's it. Somehow these random dudes are just beating up, like, some of the best special forces mercenaries in the world.
Tej has a scene where he's just, like, kung fuing people.
I'm like, listen a minute, I'm not saying that Tej isn't doing some training, because, again, like, he knows the shit they're getting involved in. Mm-hmm. But doing some shit on the side is way different than, like, being in the life for a decade. Or, again, a lot of these guys look like they're easily mid to late 30s, so they've been in this life for 15, 20 years.
Yep.
Like, bruh. Bruh. You can hack them, but you can't stack them.
I also love how they used... they barely had Missandei do anything the entire movie. And then just, like, right at the end. Just like, here I go.
Yeah, this movie has a balance problem. In previous films, they did a good job of giving everybody a chance to shine and do something. They just didn't know what to do with this movie, man.
Yeah.
And again, I think... I genuinely wonder what movie they would have made if Paul Walker was still alive.
Yeah.
Because I hate to say this because it sounds cliche, but he was the soul of the franchise.
Yeah.
Like, as much as Vin Diesel is, say, the face, a lot of it was based around Paul Walker. Like, Paul Walker is by no means a good actor. I've never believed anything he does. But...
He's Brian O'Connor.
He's Brian O'Connor.
Brian O'Connor.
He had between him and and Diesel, they had a relationship with every character there.
Yeah.
And Brian, I think, did a better job of having a better relationship with everybody there.
Well, he's the glue. He's how all of them connect. He connects to Vin. He connects to Mia, and like because of that, like they connect. He connects with Letty, and ultimately he connects with Letty because of their fucking backstory they did in 4. He connects with obviously Rome, and he connects with Tej because both of them are from Too Fast. Mm-hmm. Hobbs, obviously, just because he was brought in during the rest of the sequels and things like that. He's the glue. Like, he's why everyone is together.
Yeah.
Like,
plus he's better at diffusing tension. Like,
yeah.
he's just his natural state is that goofy smile.
Yep.
In every movie he was in, at some point he brought up that goofy smile. Whether he's ragging on Rome or somebody else. He just gets out of the car with a big goofy smile on his face. Like, this boy has lived his best life. Doesn't matter what continent he's on, who wants to kill him. He's living his best life, man.
It's cool, man.
Except for, having to go to soccer practice.
Yeah. That was Rock. You talking about that? The Rock coaching the girls' soccer team and having them do what's the Samoan dance thing they do?
Oh, this meant more just the kind of cliche of a soccer mom, because like that again, the scene in Fast 6, 7, when he's like running around in the minivan.
Yeah,
Brian is.
I don't know. I just really like that part where in the beginning where the Rock is like coaching the girls and he has them do the
foreshadowing Hobbs and Shaw.
Right.
Which is funny, they're actually going to have this is the only movie in the franchise, I think, to not have a post-credit scene, because it was originally going to be a setup for Hobbs and Shaw, and Diesel's like, nah fam, cut it. Apparently, it's not all about family.
True.
Douche.
You just don't like when somebody else is daddy. You don't like when the real daddy come around.
Mark, you're being petty. You're being petty. But, So this movie is best looked at from the view of don't think about it.
Yeah.
If you just go with it, you'll have yourself a lot more fun. If you try to figure out why those autopilot cars being controlled by a few keystrokes are doing these elaborate maneuvers and turnarounds, your brain's going to break. If you're trying to think about why Shaw is able to break into international black site and break out his brother and get to the plane all in that small window of time, after Vin Diesel somehow, while being on like the world's best technology terrorist in the world, able to get communication out to somebody else, to set up a meeting with your former enemy's mother, so that she could break him out and get connections.
Your former enemy's mother and this random like loan shark gangster guy that you met on when you were in Cuba to somehow help you out. Yeah. Whose respect you earn. Yeah. Also, I do want to say that I loved that beginning part where he's racing with the shitty car, and just the fact that he wins by the engine exploding. It pushes him all across the finish line enough.
It's a very Vincent Diesel thing to do.
It is. It absolutely is.
And it was a tracker the whole time.
What was it?
That fucking cross necklace was a tracker the whole time.
Oh yeah. Like always? Back in the early 2000s?
So like we're assuming that was just a replacement, right? Like
I must have
he
been.
replaced it at some point, like while he's like talking to like Mr. Nobody, he's like, "Hey, I need a tracker." Like
shame that they killed off Elsa.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. Elsa Pataki's, what was her name? Elena?
Elena.
But,
yeah, she's one of the few women left who's still a badass and not like a caricature.
Yeah. And she's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, she is.
But didn't happen on screen.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
anybody who doesn't die on screen.
Yeah, I guess. Sure, yeah, okay.
Fucking bring back Han.
Yeah.
I suppose. Well, listen. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Younger Shaw. Owen. Owen Shaw can fall out of the same plane that Giselle fell off of the car, which hypothetically was a shorter height. But Owen can survive, but Giselle can't.
Yeah. Well, again, because at a certain point, everybody's superhero.
I suppose so.
And because her weak female body couldn't handle the fall.
I suppose.
So that's where we are with this universe. Wonder Woman wasn't strong enough.
Yeah. It'd be pretty funny if she comes back in the next one in the invisible jet, or like with the armor. Which
again, sidebar. So everybody's just cool with the Shaws now.
Yeah.
Like they did a lot of fucking damage and killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're just cool with them now.
Well, fucking, they killed a lot of people. That opening scene where they steal the opening scene where they steal the EMP. Oh, yeah. They just like straight up murder a bunch of cops.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's okay because the wrecking ball had a smiley face on it.
Yeah.
So they didn't really die. They just pretended
they didn't fucking survive. There's no way because they're not main characters.
They just got pushed to the side. I didn't see any red shirts. Yeah. I didn't see no red shirts. They just got pushed to the side, man. Obviously. They're not going to kill Russians. They're Russians.
They were just cops. They weren't like secret, mercenary people. Like, and then there's that too. Vin Diesel just straight up murders a bunch of them with the fucking bar thing.
They're fucking murderers.
Yeah.
All of them. Like, maybe not Ramsey.
Yeah. At this point, it's not even like just collateral damage. Like, they're intentionally fucking killing these people in, like, one might even say depraved ways. A fucking wrecking ball with a smiley face on it.
That was premeditated.
Yep.
This is a cold motherfucker.
When I was watching the Everything Wrong With video before this just to get some amount of, like, perspective on it. And, like, he brings up, he's like, why didn't they just use the explosives, like, behind them? Or, like, on, like, a bridge or something. Like, they had to use this explosive to, like, blow up the thing to swing the wrecking ball down. And it's like, straight up, like, that's some Saw shit. That's some Jigsaw shit.
There's a lot of things they could have done. Hell, they could have just fucking, like, dropped some caltrops.
Yeah!
Like,
blow out their tires.
There's a lot of simple shit they could have done. Like, yeah. Yes. Don't think about it.
Wait a minute. Are they the bad guys?
I mean, they're not good guys.
No. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I mean, again, also, think of the premise. These random people are being brought in to steal an EMP for reasons.
Yeah.
Assumably, it's for the government. And assumably, it's for Mr. Nobody.
This rando guy who comes and visits The Rock at a soccer game, just whipping out his fucking computer with all this sensitive information on it, talking about it in plain view of a dozen or more people.
Yeah.
Apparently a bunch of thirsty-ass soccer moms. Who could blame him? It's The Rock.
So, yeah, I mean, again, it's I guess it's the beauty of using a shady CIA guy as like, the source.
Yeah.
Because you can just make shit up for whatever the fuck you want.
It's true.
Again, whether it's nefarious or proper. I mean, assumably, Mr. Nobody is a, what's the term? A good demon?
Yeah.
He's malevolent. So he's getting it to stop bad guys from using it?
Benign?
Sure.
Malevolent literally means, like, bad.
Benevolent.
There we go.
That was benevolent. Close, same thing.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell with Kurt Russell.
Malevolent, benevolent. Same thing.
Listen, he goes from ego to Santa Claus pretty quickly. All right? So let's just calm down.
Sure did. Yeah.
It's a ridiculous movie. It's definitely not in my top 5. It's fine. It is literally just dumb fun. If you don't think about it and just enjoy the bright lights and action scenes, you're gonna have fun. If you try to think of any reason why anything happens, doesn't make, again, at the very end, after Diesel beats the main Special Forces mercenary by flipping and breaking his neck.
Yeah.
He then catches up to them, does his thing, and they block the submarine explosion by driving their cars in front of him.
Yeah.
Everybody's fine.
That was certainly one of the more ridiculous things.
This is a movie where The Rock Johnson chucking a torpedo is one of the most common sense things in the whole goddamn movie. Like, that makes the most sense. Out of, like, if you bring a submarine up, yeah, The Rock has to throw a torpedo, obviously. It has to happen.
Well, at least they, like, did it kind of, like, not so ridiculously physically impossible, where it's like, okay, he's, like, kind of ice skiing on the car, and he just kind of more directs it than he does anything else. Not like he picked it up and threw it.
Right.
But yeah, that bit was absolutely ridiculous, where they fucking drive the cars in to block the fireball from from hurting Vin Diesel. It's like, bro, like, you still have this whole open upper area. Fire is more or less fluid. It will just go straight down.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything.
What the fuck are your cars made out of?
Yeah. I'll give them that. I'll say, okay, these are the super duper government cars, and like maybe they're fireproof and things like that. Fire doesn't work that way, though.
They were government cars. They were repos.
They're
like one of them was a government car.
Yeah.
Like that fucking like truck tank was.
Yeah.
Right. Some are just fucking repos.
That was dope.
Again, it's dumb fun. Enjoy it. Like, don't think about it. Just fucking have fun. It's like Baywatch.
There's a very a relatively tense scene where after like the very jokey bit with Rome driving around this Ferrari on the ice, he's having trouble. He's slipping around. He's can't quite do it. And everybody's shooting at him. And why are they shooting at me? Maybe because he's driving an orange Ferrari. One of the bad guys fires a missile at him, and it doesn't hit him, but it blows up the ice, which causes a crack where he's driving along it, and he just is skating along that crack, and he's slowly getting to the point where he's going deeper and deeper into the water, and it's very tense, and they're like, "Oh no, help me out!" And Tej helps him out by firing one of the harpoons into the side of his car and trying to pull him out, but it doesn't work. So he says, "Hold on to your car or in your door," and they pull him out to that. He's all safe. But Vin Diesel drives his 5,000 horsepower car off of a fucking cliff directly onto the ice, and that doesn't crack at all. Doesn't do anything. Nope. The sub exploding doesn't break the ice for all of them to just fall through. The one missile does.
No. His American car made entirely out of metal.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, powerful and heavy that earlier on in the film, 6 cars are firing harpoons into him and trying to drag him around. And it doesn't work. He's able to break free.
Just don't think about it, man. Just don't think about it. I'm already working on getting myself in that mentality to watch F9.
Yeah.
I have to just walk in stupid.
I'm fine with it.
I'm gonna need to walk in drunk. I'm gonna need to walk in a few drinks in.
So we're definitely doing 40X then, because they have the actual bar.
Yeah, it's fine.
Go to.
I'll meet you at Ale House.
Go to Ale House.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yep.
I can't watch a movie sober. I will think too much about it. Because already, I'm thinking too much about it. Already seeing Lucas Black's big ass forehead. Already seeing all the fucking makeup Vin Diesel is wearing. Already thinking of all those fucking magnets they're using.
Vin Diesel's got some serious jowls, by the way.
All those magnets, are they really? How bad are they trying to push the COVID vaccine on us? Jesus. Jesus. My body, my choice. Well, not your female, so no. But, you know how it goes.
My body, my choice. Your body, my choice.
Don't do as I do. Do as I say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. Final review. Grab a case and have fun.
Yep.
Don't think about it, man. Make a drinking game out of it. Every time he says family or he says something you can't understand, drink. Maybe get 2 cases.
When I first saw my son, I knew he knew I was his father. Oh, that's ridiculous too. The little boy calling him daddy, even though he's never seen him before. It's I feel like Charlize Theron's character maybe trained the kid to do that.
Probably. All this is wrong.
Yeah, it's fine. I ain't mad at it. I ain't even disappointed in it. I didn't go in with very much expectations. It's just when you have a really dumb kid, and you know he's dumb, and there's no way that you're going to fix it, and you're just he did something dumb.
But that's the thing. It showed flashes of brilliance in 5 and 6.
Yeah. I still love 7. 7's one of my favorites.
7's fun. It's still fine. It's still a movie. There's still a plot.
Yeah.
This one does not have a plot.
No.
Everything is structured in such unbelievable. There's no reason for all the things Cypher goes through to get Dom to do the things she has to do.
You're absolutely right about that. Had they made it something that was more specific to him.
Well, even still, just say, "Hey, man, I have your son." Really, all this could have been avoided if she just told him, "Tell your crew not to get involved, or I'm going to kill your son."
Yeah.
probably listen to that. I'll do what I gotta do, and you gotta do it. And then at some point, yes, when it gets big enough, when it starts getting towards that shit, then yeah, Hobbs will force them to get involved, and nobody will force them to get involved.
Yep.
But like the whole mystery of him like turning evil was dumb. It's fucking dumb.
Well, it would have been better had they not like started out by showing her talking to him.
Yeah, after she closes down a cafe, so he has to go extra 2 blocks.
Yeah.
To force him to come across her, like, just walk up to him. What are you doing?
Yep.
That was an empty street. You didn't need to block anything off.
Yep.
What are you doing? He's easy to find.
It would have been a lot more.
Biggest head in Cuba.
Yeah, true.
Second largest jowls.
Even biggest, even bigger than Castro's.
Too soon, man.
Raul.
Too soon.
No more communism in Cuba. Guess it didn't work out. Yeah, but one of the, again, referring to the Sins video that I watched, one of the big things that they talked about was how unnecessary that scene with her in the beginning was, where like she reveals herself, where it's like, wouldn't that have been so much better? That betrayal scene where he smashes into Hobbs, if we didn't see that, if we didn't know it was coming, it was not something that we were just like. Yeah.
But they just forgot how to tell stories.
Yep.
Like, again, like, the plots were very thin in the last few movies.
Yeah.
It was everything was very reactionary. But yeah, just not showing us certain things till later on would have made things flow a lot better. But again, they didn't care because they knew that people would be down for whatever.
Pretty much. Once they hit $1 billion with 7, they were just like, whatever.
Don't mind us. We're just gonna break some records.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we figured out the formula. Yeah, I agree. All in all, fine movie. Watch it. Don't think too much into it. Looking forward to F9.
So look forward to our review next week and our theories about what's going to happen in the last 2 movies.
Fast 10, your seatbelts.
Hopefully the last 2 movies. What?
Fast 10, your seatbelts. I mean, I hope they do. But at the same time, I don't know what I'll do if they do. Well, I'll just go, I will literally be dumbfounded. I won't be able to say it's stupid because I completely see it's coming. So it's like, it's the old redneck adage. If it's dumb, but it works, then it ain't dumb.
Well, they've done a great job of having no naming formula. Mm-hmm. So they can call it whatever the fuck they want, as long as it has either Fast or Furious in the title. So they're probably going to do like Fast something for number 10 and something Furious for number 11. Because like F10 works. F10, the end, question mark. Fast 10 your seatbelt. Like, there's so many dumb things they can do with it.
Fast 10 your seatbelts.
I don't care. Sure, let's go with it. I don't care.
You're doing great.
F11 control delete. Like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care.
I don't know. It's just so good.
It's such a brilliant, dumb franchise. God damn it. They broke the fucking code. They figured it out, guys. I hate that they figured it out. I hate that Vin Diesel is a fucking multi-billion-dollar producer. It's pissing me off.
Mark Sinclair. One of my favorite lines for... I never use it, but one of my favorite lines for a girl is... did you sit on the F5 key? Because that ass is refreshing.
We should definitely use that.
Nice. It's a good one. Another good one. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I eat mop.
I eat mop who?
You do? That's gross.
Well, that's an episode.
There was nothing in the glass, thankfully. A better portion of the bottle gone, though. So, highly recommend Ballotine chocolate peanut butter whiskey cream. It's enjoyable and potent. I think it's only like 17%, but good enough for government work, as you put out earlier.
Huzzah! Huzzah, guys.
Thank you for joining us on this episode today. Paul Breeze has been P Breezy.
Whether I like it or not.
Yep. D-Easy.
Still the absent Slim.
Still the absent Slim, yep. And I have been Ryan Binlin. Bye.